Ethan Waters' book, Crazy Like Us, details the rush of Western mental health organizations to meet what they believe to be an imminent psychological crisis for Sri Lanka in the form of post-traumatic stress disorder. The U.S. was still in the early years of assessing the effects of PTSD on 9/11 survivors. PTSD symptoms are defined as intrusive thoughts and dreams, memory avoidance, and uncontrollable anxiety and arousal when a victim is reminded of the event. When the 2004 Indian earthquake and tsunami hit Sri Lanka, decimating villages and killing over 30,000 people, Western clinicians believed local survivors would be similarly affected. Just 10 days after the event, Reuters reported that up to 20% of the tsunami survivors would develop PTSD. What they found in the following weeks resulted in a hurried appraisal of Sri Lankans' capacity to understand and cope with their own trauma. Children asked to go back to school, and displaced families wished to return to their villages despite the conditions. The overall Western assessment was that Sri Lankans were in a dangerous degree of denial and that they even lacked the self-awareness to process the event. They insisted that survivors needed intensive Western-style counseling. This was due to ethnocentric judgments that didn't take into consideration the wider psychosocial and cultural aspects of the Sri Lankan people. At the core of this lies an assumption that all humans experience traumatic events in the same way due to automatic processes. And it's true that when people experience an immediate threat in our environment, specific changes occur in the body. Our heart rate increases, pupils dilate, senses heighten, and muscles tense. But what happens in the days, weeks, or years following a major stressful event varies greatly due to social and cultural factors. Even in the US, symptoms following traumatic events have changed greatly from one decade to the next. But nevertheless, Western responders believe that Sri Lanka needed our data and training in order to cope, ignoring the fact that Sri Lanka had been through many hardships before and had remained remarkably resilient and hopeful. So Sri Lanka is a largely Buddhist country with rich cultural traditions and tight woven communities. Many families live in multi-generational households and share communal work and caregiving. And now I'd like to share some perspective from my guest, Kumi. Kumi grew up on a family farm in northern Sri Lanka. At age 30, she moved to the US, where she pursued education, raised a family, and operates a pre-K school. She's also a Sac State alum and earned her master's degree here. After the tsunami, she traveled to help, and she even helped to build a new home for a displaced family. So here is Kumi on Sri Lankan coping and resilience.
I feel like um, our resilience, our people's resilience, even mine, I would say, is built on like two pillars. One would be our culture, our upbringing. One would be our religion. Majority of our people are Buddhists, and we believe in and the culture of it is that Sri Lanka, the people are in a collectivist society. They are growing up. It's how they are steeped in this collectivist society. And I wrote down something here that I was really going to say to you. So the main thing that we believe in is strong ties with family, friends, strong ties, ties that go through generations. So ties that friends you keep up with until you die. Even from here to there, my schoolmates and classmates are still my friends. We call each other. And I've been gone 40 odd years. I see them occasionally. So those strong bonds that they make is one of the biggest things we have to fall back on. Those are our little safety nets. So this collectivist society, I think, was one of the major things that contributed to our resilience. Also believe in what our religion says. Religion says whatever you have to go through, you have to have the good and you have to have the bad. To know how to know what it is, to experience what it is, you have to know joy, you have to know sadness. Then only you will know that, oh, now you are happy. Now it is a better time. And also it says that you have a thing called karma. You are not in this world just as a weed today. You are also bringing all these karmic forces and all the things you did in all those different births and births and births. So whatever happens to you, you have to accept it, and you have to do better. You have to do better things, do good, don't do bad things. And the religion teaches you that. So that is also another thing that we rely upon, and something that you can accept what comes.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for in this little video. Groups and differences process traumatic events in ways that vary widely, but my main takeaway from this is that when we try to study trauma, we need to understand that there's no one correct way to suffer, to grieve, or to recover, and that we can learn so much from these examples of strength and healing from around the world. Thank you to Kumi, who was so happy to contribute. I hope you enjoyed hearing from her and that you enjoyed this video. The following is a little bonus clip from Kumi. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to give this interview. And maybe you could wish everybody luck.
Thank you very much for asking me to do it. I love it that you are doing it for a class in Sacramento State University. I love that. And I wish you, or you and all your classmates, a wonderful time studying. Study hard, you girls and boys, and then get through your exams. It'll be good for you in the future. So study hard and get it done and over with. Best of luck.
Done over
All
with.
the blessings.